Sometime in the next 100 years, every person alive today will be dead. It's the one appointment none of us will miss, and the one thing no one has ever come back to explain. So, for thousands of years, we guessed. The Egyptians, the Greeks, the Norse, the people of ancient Mesopotamia, civilizations that never met, separated by oceans and centuries. And when you lay their maps of death side by side, something almost impossible happens. They drew nearly the same one. The only question left is why. Here is the strange thing about your own death. You cannot picture it. Try, and your mind slips you into the room as a watcher, floating above your own body. It will not show you nothing because it has never known nothing. Every human who ever lived hit that same wall, and none could accept it. So they did something remarkable. They drew a map of what lay on the other side and made the dead into travelers, because none of these peoples imagined death as a wall. Every one of them drew a door. The oldest map is Egypt's, where people prepared for death for over 3,000 years. Dying was not an ending but a journey, through the Duat, a shadow country of gates and monsters and lakes of fire. No one expected you to know the way, so they buried you with a guidebook, the Book of the Dead, a scroll of spells to talk your way past each guardian, a phrasebook for a country you could never come home from. At the end of the road stood a golden scale. The jackal-headed god Anubis lifts your heart onto one pan. On the other lies a single feather, the feather of Maat, goddess of truth. If your heart is lighter, you pass into the field of reeds, a perfect copy of the Egypt you loved. If it is heavy with everything you did wrong, a waiting beast called Amit devours it, and you simply stop. They called it the second death. Travel east to the world's first cities in what is now Iraq, and the map goes black. The Sumerians and Babylonians looked at death and promised you nothing. No paradise to earn, no pit to fear. There was one destination, and everyone went: the House of Dust. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, a traveler describes it: a house you enter and never leave, where the dead sit in the dark, clothed like birds in feathers, with clay for bread and dust to drink. King and slave, cruel and kind, all together, forever, in the gray. It sounds like pure despair, but folded inside it was a lesson. If this life is the only light you get, then go home. Fill your belly, hold your children, love the days you have. It is the oldest thing humans ever wrote down about death. Sail west to Greece, and the dead do not simply arrive. They must cross. At the border runs a black river, the Styx, with a ferryman, Charon, who does not row for free. So the Greeks pressed a coin under the tongue of their dead. Fare for the crossing, lest the soul be left wandering the near bank. Past a three-headed dog wait three judges, who read your life and sort you. The ordinary drift into the asphodel meadows, a gray half-lit plain where the dead forget their own names. The great go to sunlit Elysium. The worst are cast down into Tartarus, punished without end. And Homer let us hear one gray shade speak, the ghost of Achilles, the greatest hero of them all, who says he would rather be a landless slave among the living than a king over all the dead. Go north to the Norse and forget what the films told you. Valhalla was not for everyone. Odin's Hall, where the fallen feast and fight until the world ends, took only those who died bravely in battle, and only the ones the Valkyries chose. The goddess Freya claimed half the rest. But nearly everyone who died of sickness or age went elsewhere, down a long, cold road, across a bridge over a roaring river, to hell. Not a torture pit, but the plain, gray, ordinary end of ordinary death. A warrior people had built its paradise around the single thing it feared most, dying with nothing brave to show. 4 peoples, 4 maps, on papyrus, on clay, in stone, drawn by cultures that never traded a single word. And yet, look at their shape. Before you reach the far side, there is a journey. Before the journey ends, there is a crossing, a river, a bridge, a gate. Before you can rest, there is a judgment, a scale, a panel, a choosing. And past it, a sorting. This soul here, that soul there. The same 4 beats, over and over, across the entire ancient world. It is far too neat to be an accident. So what were they all, without knowing it, really drawing? Look hard at each scale, and you find not a picture of the dead, but a portrait of the living. Ask what a people weighed you against, and it tells you what they were most afraid to lose. Egypt weighed your heart against truth because Egypt lived in terror of chaos. The Norse gave paradise to the battle-slain because a warrior world could not afford men afraid to fight. The Greeks saved their sunlit fields for glory, the thing they prized above life. And Mesopotamia, offering nothing, was a people who had decided the gods owed them nothing back. Each afterlife is a mirror. Turn it toward the dead, and the face of the living stares out, which uncovers the secret none of them spoke aloud. These maps were never really for the dead. The dead were long past needing directions. They were for the ones left standing at the graveside. A grieving mother needs somewhere to place her child. Not gone, but there, across the river. A ruler needs his people to believe the scale is watching, so they behave when he cannot. A frightened town needs to believe the cruel are punished and the good are kept. The afterlife did its real work up here, among the breathing. It gave grief an address, and gave right and wrong their teeth. And beneath even that lies the thing they truly share. It is not heaven. They could not agree on heaven. Some never offered it at all. It is not judgment or reward, or the country beyond. The one thing every map has in common is that it is a somewhere, a place the dead have gone, a you that keeps walking, crossing, arriving. Not one culture on Earth could bring itself to draw the honest picture. A stop, a blank, an end. Faced with the wall, every society that has ever lived reached up and drew a door. Because the mind forced to imagine its own ending is the one mind that can't. And you still draw it. You inherited no papyrus scroll, no coin for the ferryman. But stand at a funeral and listen to yourself. He's in a better place. She's watching over us. He's at peace now. They're together again. Gone. As if gone were a direction, a somewhere just out of sight. You have never once met a person who came back to confirm it. You hold no more proof than the Egyptians did. And still the words come because you can't help it. You are standing at their wall, with their pencil in your hand, drawing the same door. For 50,000 years, humans have buried their dead with flowers and food and coins and maps. Small acts of defiance against a fact we have never been able to swallow. We know more than the Egyptians now. We can follow the body down to its last cooling cell. But no scan has ever shown us the one thing we most want to know, what it is like to be nothing. That was never really a question about the dead. It was always about you, that you know tonight, that you will end, and that some quiet, ancient part of you simply will not believe it. The maps were never drawn to chart the far country. They were drawn because we cannot bear to stand at the edge of this one and look down